Since 1938, Matson celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Pro-choice supporters on island comment on draft change to Roe v. Wade ruling, Nestor Lecanto reports. Plus, in a special address this morning, the governor lifts the mask mandate. Daniel Perez was there at Adelup and has the story. And during a Rotary Club meeting, the governor details usage of millions in federal funding. These stories and more right here, right now on your News Leader.
Hafa and good evening, everyone. I'm Hannah Devonzo, and thanks for tuning in to your News Leader. Topping our newscast this evening, protests were seen outside the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. Monday night after Politico reportedly obtained a draft opinion written in February of 2022 that apparently suggests that the court is preparing to decide to overturn their landmark decision establishing the right to an abortion. As this was a draft, opinions from the justices can change before the final decision is made. The opinion was written by Justice Samuel Alito. As of the time of publication, however, it's not clear which justice joined Alito in that opinion. The opinion concerns the case of Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which involves a Mississippi law that bans abortions after 15 weeks. The breaking news about the Supreme Court decision comes just as pro-choice and pro-life groups prepare to square off on Senator Talina Nelson's Guam Heartbeat Act. That's a bill patterned after a new Texas law that bans abortions after a fetal heartbeat has been detected. Bureau of Women's Affairs Director Jane Flores backs pro-choice.
It's a horrifying day for women. And, the Bureau of Women's Affairs and Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, obviously, we support a woman's constitutional right to choose. And now that right might be in jeopardy. And, what I think this decision will do is to throw the country into turmoil because it pushes the right to legalize or outlaw abortion back to the states.
Meanwhile, the first hearing on Senator Nelson's heartbeat bill is set for Wednesday. Another pro-choice supporter, attorney Vanessa Williams, says she's disappointed but not surprised by the expected high court opinion. She expects it will have little impact, though, on the basic issues surrounding the heartbeat legislation.
It just doesn't really change how the bill is drafted. This bill is actually doesn't implicate Roe v. Wade per se. This was modeled almost cut and paste in a really gruesome way from Texas's SB 8 heartbeat bill. And it still has major issues, other constitutional issues that have nothing to do with abortion, actually, in Roe v. Wade.
Attorney Williams says the high court opinion will have implications for public officials. It will force politicians who've been waffling on the issue to take a stand.
Before, politicians could kind of hide from the issue and say, oh, we'll see what the Supreme Court does or what the courts do. And they wanted the court to sort it out. But now this responsibility falls squarely on the, 15 people that we elect. And I think that's going to be very important in an election year. And it's going to be very important that senators really squarely confront this issue on this bill.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
We reached out to Heartbeat Act sponsor Senator Talina Nelson for comment, but have yet to get a response as of news time. And the last COVID restriction has finally been lifted. After more than 2 years of fighting against the coronavirus, the island has made a significant step back to a sense of normalcy. Daniel Perez reports.
Countdown from 3. Please remove your mask. 3, 2, 1. FEMA! Guam!
It's official. The mask mandate has been lifted. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero made the announcement during today's COVID-19 special address on the lawn at Adelup.
In recognition of our island's low-risk community level, in coordination with Public Health, GMH, and our team's advisors effective today, face masks are no longer required in public, whether indoors or outdoors.
The governor promised 2 weeks ago that if Guam maintained its low-risk community transmission status, she would lift the final restriction. The decision was also backed by the island's recent COVID-19 status. Department of Public Health and Social Services Director Art St. Augustine, gave the opening remarks during the address and shared the island's new positive cases for the past 7 days have been 125, below the CDC community risk metric of 200. New COVID admissions have also remained low at the hospital, and the island's vaccination rate is now at 96%. These signs show the island continues to head in the right direction against COVID-19. However, this doesn't mean Guam is out of the woods just yet.
The rescinding of this restriction does not mean there is no longer a threat or that masks are obsolete. This also does not mean you have to give up your responsibility to protect the people around you.
She further added that the elderly and the immunocompromised are strongly encouraged to continue mask wearing and other precautions. For those that just want to continue wearing masks, you are more than welcome to do so, as mask wearing in public settings are now optional. Establishments, including private businesses, such as restaurants, bars, schools, etc., can also opt to keep the mask requirement in place. Both the Guam Regional Medical City and Guam Memorial Hospital have opted to keep the indoor mask mandate. To wrap things up, Governor Leon Guerrero thanked those that were thrown in the front lines of the pandemic for all the hard work and sacrifice they've done, as well as the people of Guam who stayed the course during our battle against the coronavirus. Daniel Perez reporting for KUAM News.
The Guam International Airport Authority has updated its use of face masks while inside the airport and the aircraft. Face mask use is now optional for entry and while in terminal areas. However, airlines still enforce their own mask requirements and are subject to change based on the airline's requirements. If you're flying on United Airlines, mask use has been lifted for Honolulu and Saipan flights and select international flights. This is dependent upon the arrival of the country's mask requirements. Korean Air still requires mask use upon check-in, boarding, and duration of the flight. Philippines Airline, Jin Air, Jeju Air, Air Busan, Air Seoul, and T-Way Air all require face mask use for boarding and for the duration of the flight. For more information, contact your respective airlines on what may be required for travel. And the use of face masks will no longer be required for Guam Department of Education students and employees, effective immediately. While encouraged, GDOE Public Information Officer Michelle Franquez says mask wearing isn't mandated indoors and outdoors on school grounds as well as the TZAN headquarters. It also applies to interscholastic sports association competitions. Mask wearing will remain optional but encouraged for the remainder of the school year. Economic recovery was the focus of a speech by the governor today before the Rotary Club. She touted a list of millions of dollars in federal funding that's been paid out to directly and indirectly help offset the impact of the COVID pandemic.
Investment Parahamzu mobilizes all our financial resources, the $570 million in ARP funding, as well as other federal grants, bonds, and local funds for broader investment in you and in our economic growth. Tourism, healthcare, education, our public service, public safety, infrastructure, and our environment. Economic growth in GIDA is leading our investment Parahamzu. Economic growth effort to help promote small businesses and entrepreneurship and to create more jobs.
Some of the big ticket items are $805 million in pandemic unemployment assistance, $110 million in education stabilization funding, $81.5 million for child care assistance, and $63.5 million in emergency rental assistance. And still to come on your news leader, updates out of the Guam Election Commission and later FEMA and the CNMI providing training. These stories and more coming up next.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Half a day, my name is Jerome Kinata from the village of Umata. I've applied for the program in Salapi to help me with my daily commute from Umata to Minilao. Thank you to this administration for the program in Salapi. I have received my program in Salapi.
The application deadline for program in Salapi has been extended to May 22nd, 2022. For more information, please visit doa.guam.gov. This ad was paid for by the Office of the Governor using government funds.
We love our mom because she was our first teacher. She's the center and she's the glue. She's the architect of our world. She's the reason why we are connected to not just each other as siblings, but to our culture, to everything in our life that has significance. She's the beginning of all of that.
Let us know what's up on our KUAM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
With senior centers reopening after being shut down for over 2 years, KUAM's Isaiah Uggan spoke with some of the island's Manumku to get their point of view of this deadly virus and how it felt to be back.
Pulling up to the Manilao Senior Center, you can feel the excitement and are welcomed by at least 3 big bright signs that sit in front of the building. With only 1 week to prepare for the long-awaited reopening of all 12 senior centers, Manilao Mayor Alan Angata says that no obstacles were in the way of relaunching operations Monday morning.
No hiccups for the most part. We've been blessed, like I said. Everything was smooth, the transition, the food. I'd like to thank everyone for all making this possible. They're so excited that when they came in, they all went to the same place like as if they were not gone.
Walking into the senior center, you can hear laughter, see elders socializing with their peers, and that's where we met Manilao resident Aurora Borja enjoying her lunch. Looking back at the last 2 years, she felt alone, locked up at home with one of her adult children when senior centers first shut down during the peak of COVID.
To be honest, it was very, depressing, and sometimes I feel like I want to run away.
Borja shared how it felt talking with participants after not doing so for over 2 years.
Great. Look at the white hair that I got. Staying home. I said, someday, when is this gonna end? But I am grateful that I'm alive, and everyone else that I know, and look, I'm out.
While the elderly participants were preparing for a game of bingo, we also had the chance to speak with 79-year-old Herman Lozada of Barragata. He explained what the last 2 years been like for him.
We just stayed at the house, and I do some house gardening, that's it.
Lozada also shared what he missed the most about the environment.
The thing here is we always get together, and we have lots of friends, and it's lots of fun. The fun every day.
Around 30 senior citizens returned to the village's center on Monday, which is a decline before COVID crossed their shores more than 2 years ago. In excitement, Mayor Angata says that they're just happy to have them back.
Our seniors are back in their own place where they rightfully should be.
Meanwhile, in Alahan, Mayor Anthony Chargaloff gave KUAM News a progress report, noting a decrease in registered participants.
So yesterday, we only had 5 that actually came in and congregated. We had others that just drove up, picked up their meals, and walked away. But for the most part, it's 5.
The number of participants for all senior centers island-wide has dipped to just half compared to pre-COVID. According to PD Mayor and Mayor's Council of Guam President Jesse Alec, about 600 senior citizens made their way to a center on Monday. Mayor Chargaloff anticipates an increase in participants.
What was encouraging yesterday was the 5 that did show up said that they were going to reach out to others because they were a little bit skeptical and hesitant to come up, only because they didn't quite understand what the protocols were.
With masks not required indoors and outdoors effective Tuesday, the mayor's staff continues to encourage them to cover their face, especially those with their immune system at higher risk.
We're still advocating for them and highly suggesting and recommending that they still wear the mask despite the mask mandate being lifted.
Unfortunately, a number of senior citizens has passed away during the COVID-19 pandemic in the last 2 years. A memorial service was held at each senior center individually to remember them. Reporting for KUAM News, your news leader, Guahusi Isaiah Uggan.
Early in-office voting for Decision 2022 will likely be held at the Westin Resort Guam, according to the Guam Election Commission. Posted on the GEC website is an intent to award notice. The notice reads that the GEC intends to award bid number GEC 22-01 for office space leave for vote center to the responsive and lowest bidder. The Westin Resort Guam provided that no protests arise 2 weeks after the posting of this intent to award. The notice reads, early in office and homebound voting is scheduled to start on July 28th. Should a protest for the award of this bid arise, the GEC will stay the procurement and there will be no further action until the protest is resolved. In keeping with Decision 2022 news, Dr. Velma Sablon picked up a Guam Education Board packet according to the Guam Election Commission website. Minority Leader Senator Chris Duenas has picked up a packet and will be seeking re-election. Republican incumbent Senator Frank Blas Jr. also picked up a packet. On the Democrat side, former senatorial candidate and current Hagatna Restoration and Redevelopment Authority head Lassia Castle picked up a senatorial packet. She ran in 2018 as Guam's first transgender political candidate, but was not elected to office. And failed Democrat senatorial candidate John Ananich also picked up a packet, according to the GEC website. Ananich ran for senator in 2020, finishing 17th. And former Guam Waterworks Authority Public Information Officer Heidi Ballendorf picked up a candidate packet for the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. And Katner Henry pled guilty to the charge of manslaughter in the murder of 37-year-old Luciana Pauley. As KUAM reported, it was in January of 2020 where her body was found on Ramirez Way in Toto by neighborhood children. The autopsy revealed Pauley died of multiple blunt force trauma to the head. Court documents indicated that Harry allegedly killed Pauley after engaging in sexual intercourse and beating her. Harry was sentenced to 15 years behind bars at the Department of Corrections by Judge Alberto Tolentino. During his time, he will receive treatment for alcohol abuse. And to some, it's just a scooter, but to Millie Anderson, it's her means to everyday life. On Monday afternoon, Anderson was being driven by her daughter when she missed a turn, causing her electric scooter to fall off the back of her truck, and they didn't realize it until later. After backtracking, a witness said they saw a man pick up the scooter and place it in his truck near the intersection of Bello and Alameda Street. Anderson is asking for it to be returned to her, as it's a crucial part of her life.
I carry my oxygen on the scooter because it's pretty heavy. It's just a purse size, but it's heavy, and I know that I would lose, I would need it because I wouldn't be able to breathe. I would be too tired, so I haven't gone anywhere.
Her number is 671-685-1096 and will ask no questions once returned. And over in the NMI, federal dollars in the millions are in the island's coffers after typhoons and the pandemic. In an effort to responsibly spend those funds, FEMA is on the ground to train agencies and NGOs. Tomas Benglutnia reports from Saipan.
We are coming up on typhoon season, and preparedness is always the best. Having an intact plan is best.
And that plan is coming together as trainers from the Federal Emergency Management Agency are on the island to train government agencies and NGOs.
Our job is to make sure that if, for example, the ARPA money or FEMA money or any federally funded project has a infrastructure project, for example, water line repair, sewer line, roadway, our experts come in and do a biological assessment on the property. We also do an archaeological assessment on the property to make sure that all the rules and regulations are complied with.
The training sessions spanning the last few weeks include an overview of debris removal, emergency protective measures, procurement, and environmental and historic preservation.
Having a plan in place helps us to minimize costs in the future, so we know what to expect, and just planning that really is going to be able to harden the CNMI moving forward.
She says it's all a matter of being prepared for not just the possibility of another storm pummeling the islands, but when it does.
Big or small, an impact is an impact.
Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News.
Stay tuned. Up next, Dave Delgado with your roundup of local sports, and still to come this week's Giving Every Tuesday. Keep it here.
break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
If you really want to find out what you're made of, you can forget the personality tests and social media quizzes. Because the only way you're ever going to know is by heading into the big, wild, raging, so damn beautiful it hurts world and finding out for yourself. Were you born to follow a path, or were you born free? These are the things we thought about when we made the new Grand Cherokee. Made for what you're made of.
Sipping on a delicious drink from McDonald's may have you thinking, what makes these drinks just hit different? Don't overthink it. Just enjoy it. It's more than a drink. It's a McDonald's drink.
Cool off this summer with McDonald's Minute Maid Slushies. Try the new Tropical Mango or returning favorite, Strawberry Watermelon, for a limited time.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The IIAAG Cadet and Glidey 2022 season wrapped up races at the Matapang Beach. Teams battled it out in the 500 meters, 1,000 meters, and 1,500 meter sprints. Teams earned cumulative team points with each race, and overall awards were presented in the Sotero, and Sotero divisions. The Academy Cougars were crowned Sotero champions with a total of 118 points, followed by the Guam High Panthers with 95 points and the St. John's Knights with 66 points. The Father Duenas Friars held on to a comfortable lead to finish as champions in the Sotero division with 114 points. St. John's finished the season strong, closing the gap with 96 points, followed by the Guam High Panthers with 79 points. Guam High dominated the Sotero mixed division, finishing first in 8 of the 9 series heats, finishing the season as mixed division champions with 149 team points, followed by the combined Friars and Cougars crew with 94 points and the Knights with 66 points. Repurposed wood were used as award plaques donated by artist and Guam paddler Masako Sablan. Now for some girls' high school rugby between the Panthers and Cougars.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Feels like we're in a time loop.
Because we get white hot ranch nacho fries every day?
Yeah. Same dip, different day.
Spice up every bite with the new white hot ranch nacho fries at Taco Bell.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Welcome back. In tonight's Giving Every Tuesday, Taka James Photography, Hoffa Photography, in collaboration with One Pacific Clothing, held a photo shoot over the weekend aimed at raising funds for Foster Care Awareness Month. Here's more.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
Today we got together, we're collaborating with One Pacific Clothing. So what we're doing is, it's like, a day for us to spend with each other as well, with the foster children and families. And we've also invited the Guam community so they can come out. So what we're offering from our photography service is we're offering some photos, digital photos, but the proceeds that we get today, it's going to be going to the foster children on Guam.
The weather was perfect on Sunday for a day of photo sessions held at Adelut, a portion of the proceeds going toward foster families on Guam. Taka James, one of the photographers, said with May being Foster Care Awareness Month, the event was a good way to assist in any way they could.
We wanted to help One Pacific Clothing in doing this event, and by providing our photography services, we feel that it's one of the good ways to get to help them, for some of the families, the foster families that comes and today to join us. We get to help them with that, and it's also a way for the Guam community themselves to be able to give something to them and help them out.
They're extremely grateful for the families and individuals that came out to support the cause.
We like to reach out to the community here in Guam with our photo shoots, and I didn't know a way to get to communicate with the foster children as well, but then One Pacific Clothing came along, and they've been doing it for a while already. They collaborate with other local businesses and everything.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
And we wrap up the show with your birthday shout-outs. Here's Jason Salas.
The third day of the 5th month of the year is a great day to say happy birthday to Isaiah Shane, Aloka Akfaji, and happy birthday to our Bugabee. You turned 6 years old today, and you are growing into a big boy and an awesome big brother. Your family says we love you so much. Happy birthday and congratulations to the Akfaji familia. Raymond Pontamayor, happy birthday to KUM's very own Raymond. Raymond, man, we're proud to have you as a part of our team, but more importantly, our family, and we wish you the happiest of birthdays. So, to Raymond and Isaiah, we wish you both a fantastic day.
You can be a part of our Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by checking out KUAM.com. And that's our show. I'm Hannah Devonzo. Thank you, and please stay safe, Guam.